morning from Kuala Lumpur. We are in Chinatown. Guys, we're in this little food court that we found. Now, we decided to stay in Chinatown because we thought it would be interesting, but actually, it's a little bit touristy. If you're a budget traveler, I think this is where a lot of people go. And so there are definitely stores and things like that, but also ice cream shops, bars, a lot of tourists, English signs. That said, this morning as we were looking for somewhere to eat, we saw this little food court, peered in, no tourists, only Chinese residents, locals maybe, or tourists, but they're Chinese tourists, and the food looked good. So we are having this shrimp noodle soup, which is just a little bit spicy. Not spicy for Alan, but they also give you sambal. This is not a food video. Today we are going to Batu Caves. Batu Caves is probably one of the most popular things to do in Kuala Lumpur. Just outside the city core, I think less than 10 kilometers. You can get there by public transit, but we're gonna get a Grab because my friend Sam, who I met in 2007, the day after I got robbed in Vietnam, is here as well. So I think for the three of us, it's just easier to take a car, and maybe we'll take public transit back. But this is home to the largest Hindu statue in Malaysia. It's supposed to be beautiful. I'm bringing my drone. It's gonna be great. But first, we need to eat because this noodle soup looks so good. It is good. Made it to Batu Caves. I have to say I was really surprised. You go about 7 kilometers and then you're right there. You don't have to go very far. It's actually very easy to get to. It was a 14 ringgit drive, so that's under $5 US. And then kind of you're here and it's beautiful. So a few things to know here. This is free, so it's free to get in. There's a cave that you can go through, and that is all free. There's another cave that is 5 ringgit to go to, and then a third cave, which is like an adventure cave, which is 35 ringgit. It's some kind of adventure opportunity that I probably am not going to do. And it is how many steps to the top? 272. 272 colorful steps to the top. So you do need to bring good shoes. You need to cover both your shoulders down to your knees because you are at a temple. And that's, I think, pretty much it. Good shoes if you're gonna go up this whole way. This place opens at 7, so actually if you wanna get here before the crowds, I think showing up right at 7 is probably a good idea. It is almost 11 a.m. We're just taking it easy today. So the nice thing about these steps, even though it's noon and it's hot, is that the steps are actually in the shade. So it's 272 steps to the top, and I want to share with you an interesting story about this place because, you know, a lot of Hindu temples that you visit are old, ancient, have some kind of historical story. This one is a little bit different. All right, so let's talk about this temple. So these caves are 400 million years old, and they were used by the indigenous community here. And then later on, they were used, Chinese farmers would come here to collect basically bat dung because it was excellent fertilizer. So the community always knew that there were caves here, but didn't know anything was very interesting about them. An American naturalist came here late 1800s and made a discovery of what people already knew. And so it started to get a little bit more attention. And then in the 1920s, there were steps that were created to go to these caves. And then later on, the Tamil community here decided that they wanted to make this a shrine. This is now the largest shrine, Hindu shrine outside of India. And 272 steps to the top. The stairs were painted in 2008. But what's most interesting is that this huge statue did not appear until 2006. So this existed long before, and it has continued to grow. I think it's become very popular since the addition of these steps because now everybody wants a photo. And we are almost at the top. So it says 272 steps. The first steps seem very steep, but then actually they get quite shallow and manageable. And even though it's 272, you're constantly stopping for photos. So it's actually not so bad at all. So one of the important things to remember while you're here is that even though this is a tourist attraction, very colorful, you can take lots of photos and pictures, but it is also a place of worship. So this is a Hindu temple. There are people who are here because they want to practice their religion. So being quiet, being courteous is always a good idea. Well, I can't believe after the steps it just keeps getting better and better. So this very much feels like a cathedral with the arches of this cave. It's very grand. There's so many people here and yet it doesn't feel crowded at all. It actually feels very peaceful. Right back here there is a Hindu temple and it looks like there's going to be a ceremony. So there are two adults carrying a child in this yellow cloth in bamboo. And so I don't know if it's kind of the introduction to the church or the baptism or similar Hindu ceremony to welcome the baby, but there are people here and I'm not sure if we can get a sneak peek of that, but you're allowed into the temple, just no shoes, and we're gonna take a look around. This place is really beautiful. It's all free. This has been a really spectacular visit. Just a really nice way to spend the morning. I would come early. We're here right now. It's very humid. It's not too hot because you're in the cave, but it's still very, very humid. But being here a little bit later means that we're seeing some of the rituals. You know, it is a tourist attraction, but people have come here to worship and it's really beautiful. And the fact that it's completely free and welcoming to visitors is just so nice. Again, it reminds me of India. Oh. Alright, so that's the end of this video in Batu Caves. It was fantastic. Now, you can only see the main area and the main cave, but it's all free. It's really quite lovely. Take your time here. We came at the wrong time when it was the busiest, and it still wasn't that busy at all. I would absolutely recommend it. Now, in the next video, we are getting back to my core love. We're going for food. So I've been given a recommendation for where locals go to eat traditional Malaysian food, Malaysian Chinese food. It's a food court. I think it's in a basement. If you're from Malaysia, you probably know where I'm going, and I will see you in the next video. Join my
my Patreon community for more behind the scenes and exclusive content you won't find elsewhere. You can also find me on Instagram, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. All of these things make my day. Thank you so much for your support.